Hey there, guys. Taylor Holmes here from THiNC, Taylor Holmes Incorporated. It's been a couple weeks, so I thought I'd just get together with you guys and do another quick overview discussion of an awesome little movie, Silent Night. It's coming into Christmas. My family and I just started our first Christmas lights watching last night. Tons of fun at a local amusement park here in Denver. Um, so hopefully you guys are getting into the swing of it. You got your Christmas lights going up, and well, I've got a really strange Christmas movie. We'll discuss that um, coming up here in Silent Night. It was written and directed by Camille Griffin. Literally nothing to her resume but shorts. Um, I have even gone looking for said shorts, but have had a difficult time even finding them. So it's an interesting thing that she was able to get this even made with such quality actors. Speaking of the actors, um, you've got Nell, played by Keira Knightley. Everybody knows her. Pirates of the Caribbean, um, Imitation Game. But my favorite role she was in was The Phantom Menace, because that was an awesome movie. She, I think she was in episode one, and then she got killed off in beginning of episode two. Um, uh, tons of acting credits to her name, and then you've got Simon, played by Matthew Good, also in Imitation Game, Downton Abbey. You know him too, I'm sure. What we've got here is a strange. I'm calling it the Ebola cloud because I've got nothing else to call it. It's a disease airborne in a cloud, um, coming towards England. And the first world seems to have decided that instead of bleeding out all their orifices, literally the symptoms for Ebola, and maybe becoming sort of a um, post-apocalyptic nightmarish zombie land, or participating in any of that. The, the first world has decided that we should all kill ourselves. And this is a really dark, black comedy. Um, you know, Contemplating what if the worst case scenario were to hit. Um, and with COVID hitting the last few years, it's not a um, irrelevant question. Spanish flu hit, 100 years ago or so, and, it's not unforeseeable, but it is a bit asinine the way in which they played out this scenario, this cloud tornado, green tornadoes bringing death in this Christmas season. And so you watch this panic and this desire for um, I don't know. There was this idea that bad things had happened amongst this group of friends. There's some cattiness. There's some infighting, but you can tell that people are wanting to be forgiven. They're hoping that others will forgive, but that never really happens. It just continues to swirl and continues to meat grind each other, heading into the end of the world. There's no forgiveness. There's no uh, move towards sanity or grace, right? There's nothing there that ultimately is lasting. as we head into the end of the movie. Sure, it's funny, and sure they don't want to die, and sure they're hoping for another Coke and with ice and cold, and they're trying to avoid death. But at the end of the day, they're too afraid of the symptoms. They're too afraid of suffering. Suffering seems to be the worst possible evil. And so the first world, I think there were a few comments. You guys can correct me in the comments, but there are a few moments in the movie where, it made it pretty clear that the third world, the underdeveloped world, countries, um, were not being given this drug or this opportunity to commit suicide or even supported in any way at all. But the first world has decided, you know, um, this is the way we're going, and it's death or nothing. One of my favorite lines in the movie was one of the gals saying, "There's no way I can do a post-apocalyptic monochromatic wandering," and she's seen the road, right? She's not doing that, and it cracked me up. So you've got the humor side of it, but there's also a very real aspect of it as well. This kind of underlying truth that's occurring, and I find that really fascinating. This hope for redemption, hope for forgiveness, hope for peace amongst their friendships, but never letting go of the old grudges, never letting go of the slights or the offenses that had occurred years ago. And oh, by the way, it occurred in the middle of winter, not winter, Christmas. It happened in the middle of Christmas, right? What is Christmas if not a season of hope, a season of forgiveness, joy, grace? They could have set this at any particular time they wanted, and there's a couple of details that definitely supports my thinking here. In that, once the movie is over or almost over, we get a washing of the world in snow. A dusting of snow comes through all the locations where the movie was shot. Well, the house, and the grounds, right? There's newness. There's whiteness, perfection, right? We're symbolizing a washing of the world, and the ending of these grievances, ending of these sins, right? But in the season of Christmas, um, you know, Christ came, was born in a manger that heralds the coming of forgiveness and his death on the cross, resurrection, and Easter, right? It, whether you're a Christian or not is really irrelevant. Like the concept of Christmas, the idea of Christmas is embedded in the middle of this movie that's a post-apocalyptic horror show. And why did they do that? Also, there are a number of moments that give us the idea that there's more spiritual nuance going on here than even the Christmas theme, and that is the idea of communion, the forgiveness of sins. Where's communion? Gosh, you get these ideas from out of nowhere. When two of the characters give each other the pill, and then they give each other the drink. It is the bread and the wine, right? It's the idea that we are partaking of the body of Christ and the blood of Christ, and we're remembering for the forgiveness of sins. I mean, I have taken communion in weirder ways. I know on the beach with my youth group years ago, we took communion with potato chips and Mountain Dew. It's really immaterial what you do it with. The concept is, I mean, I'm sure there are theologians that stumble upon this and disagree with me, but you're not eating the body of Christ. You're not drinking the blood of Christ. So it's really quite irrelevant. And so you see this. metaphor being played out here on the screen in um, this moment of death, this moment of darkness. But they have eschewed all that. They have walked away from the Christmas season, the hope, the joy, the potential of the season. And the movie makes it super clear that they were all wrong. Why? Because Art got the disease. He was bleeding out of the eyes. And then at the last minute, his eyes were open. And that's how the movie ends. The movie is telling us very clearly that all of these self important, um, prideful, arrogant, non forgiving people were incorrect in the way that they were going about their lives and going about their deaths. That this was basically another Jim Jones take the Kool-Aid moment. They were completely wrong. They allowed their fears, they allowed their doubts, their lack of forgiveness, their lack of hope, their lack of joy to overwhelm them. I thought it was a blast. This movie was really good. I can't even really, I can't, I've tried to think through how I could recommend it to, friends that I have in the real world as they come and go. And I don't know how I can do it. I don't know, I don't know what words I use to explain how this movie works because unless you like really dark comedies, the math doesn't add up, right? It's suicide, apocalypse, death clouds, Ebola, Christmas. Like it's a Christmas movie. But personally, my favorite Christmas movie is Die Hard, and no one is going to convince me otherwise. So I like to roll a little differently in terms of Christmas movies anyway. So I had a lot of fun with this one. Hopefully you did too. I hope you're all enjoying the Christmas season as it winds up. Don't let the hustle and bustle take you down the river. But hopefully you're doing well. Take care, everybody.